This is my sports video for Thursday. The greatest player by position, QB Tom Brady, definitely doesn't make sense. Running back, Jim Brown, probably one of the greatest players of all time at the running back position. Retired at 29 to pretty much devote himself to being in movies. If you don't know, Paul Brown actually asked him to pick movies or football, and he actually picked movies to be in. So I guess that was the end of that. Honestly, still considered. And he didn't play after 30, so that's honestly insane. His stats are pretty impressive. You should look him up. Receiver, Jerry Rice. Some people were saying Randy Moss. Jerry Rice should have given him the nod for that. Tight end, Tony Gonzalez. Honestly, I'm putting Gronk right there with the Super Bowls. Offensive lineman, Muniz. Honestly, I agree with that. Probably the greatest for the Bengals. Definitely does make sense. He's really the only offensive lineman who's really brain up in conversation. Defensive lineman, you have Lawrence Taylor. Makes sense. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. The only person to win Defensive Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year in the same year. And one of the few defensive players to win MVP as well. Defensive end, Reggie White. Definitely does make sense. Linebacker, Ray Lewis. Honestly, that's a good pick. Cornerback, Deion Sanders. I agree with that. Safety, Ed Reed. I agree with that. Kicker, Chris Tucker. Actually, Tucker. I agree with that. Point guard, Magic Johnson. This is moving on basketball. I agree with that. Shooting guard, you have Michael Jordan. Definitely does make sense. No brainer. Small forward, LeBron. Power forward, Tim Duncan. And center, Kareem. Honestly, all the basketball ones are anyone would expect. And that's how I do mine. Moving on to MLB. First baseman, you have Lou Gehrig. Second baseman, Hornsby. Shortstop, you have Honus Wagner. Honestly, I took a double take at this. I didn't expect him to be on here. I expected someone else. I thought they were going to put Derek Jeter, but a lot of people don't think Derek Jeter is the best shortstop just because, I don't think his accolades are enough and things like that. The greatest player some of you haven't heard of, none of us has seen. Wagner is the first in WAR among shortstops, first in OPS plus, and fourth in OPS. For those who don't know, win above replacement is pretty much like the highest stats people rank. It's like supposed to be like some wins. It's supposed to be a very high regard stats, people who follow stats, so that's definitely a good sign to have that. And statistically, he probably would be placed as one of the highest, if that is true. Career stats, OPS 467, 858, and then 3,420 hits with 101 home runs, not that many home runs. RBI is 1,732. Honestly, a great overall list. And then after that, you have third baseman Mike Schmidt. I would definitely agree with that for the Phillies. Bench, you have Bench at the catcher position. Honestly, I agree with that as well. You could maybe put someone else on there. Yogi Berra, I feel like some people would put him, but Johnny Bench I think would be a better option. Left fielder, Barry Bonds. You could honestly make the case he's the greatest baseball player of all time. So that's definitely agreeable. Center fielder, you have Willie Mays. Honestly, no-brainer as well. Him and Barry Bonds on one lineup would definitely be very lethal. Right fielder, you have Babe Ruth. Honestly, very impressive to be on here. Honestly, it makes sense. Regarded as one of the best baseball players of all time. Pedro Martinez as the pitcher. Honestly, I don't know. What do you think? Maybe someone like Nolan Ryan? Maybe someone like Randy Johnson? I don't know about Pedro Martinez be on here. Relief pitcher, no-brainer. Mariano Rivera definitely makes sense. I'm not even going to do hockey. I don't really know any of these players. The only hockey players I know are like Ovechkin, Gretzky. I do know Orr. That's about it. I don't really know the rest of these players, so I'm not going to do a list on that. And honestly, this is a very good thing. Bleacher Report Gridiron, NFL Top 10 Power Rankings via Connor Rodgers. So number 1, you have the Bills. I think that definitely does make sense. I think it should be number 1. Probably one of the highest favorites for the Super Bowl this year. Number 2, you have the Chiefs. Makes sense as well. Honestly, getting Juju Smith-Schuster was a good signing, in my opinion. Number 3, the Bucks. Makes sense as well. Bringing the offense back. Tom Brady's returning. Number 4, the Rams. Yes, returning Super Bowl champions. Number 5, the Bengals. Definitely doesn't make sense. Went to the Super Bowl last year. Number 6, the Chargers. Honestly, I agree with that. 7, Packers. With Devontae Adams being out, I don't know. Will Aaron Rodgers be able to prove that he can really win without? Like, will he go as far as he did last year, the NFC Championship game? Honestly, I don't really see it, but what do you think? Number 8, the Ravens. Honestly, I have high hope for them. They drafted Cal Hamilton. Definitely a good pick, in my opinion. Number 9, the 49ers. Honestly, does make sense. Number 10, the Broncos. Adding Russell Wilson was definitely a good move, in my opinion. And here's a QB hire hierarchy. It's like QB tiers. So this is tier 1. So bona fide franchise quarterback. You have Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, makes sense. Russell Wilson, Broncos, makes sense. Tom Brady, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Aaron Rodgers, Packers. Lamar Jackson, Ravens. Russell Wilson, Broncos. Justin Herbert, Chargers. Joe Burrow, Bengals. Matthew Stafford, Rams. And Josh Allen, Bills. Those are definitely bona fide franchise quarterbacks. I agree with everyone. Tier 2, you have top pros and proven winners. Matt Ryan for the Colts and Deshaun Watson for the Browns. I agree with that. I don't know if I put them in bona fide franchise quarterbacks. There are still some question marks with both those players. Some for different reasons. Matt Ryan just because some people don't believe in him. And Deshaun Watson for a lot of off-the-field issues. So, and here's the second part. Tier 3, rising stars. They have none. I don't really get that. Tier 4, you can win with them. Derek Carr for the Raiders. Does make sense. Kyler Murray for the Cardinals, yes. Kirk Cousins, Vikings. Ryan Tannehill, you can win with them. Dak Prescott, Cowboys. Jameson Winston, Saints. Jalen Hurts, Eagles. Mac Jones, Patriots. And Tua Tagovailoa, Dolphins. Honestly, Kyler Murray being in this set is honestly very concerning that he's not with the bona fide franchise quarterbacks. Honestly, kind of concerning signs. Mainly because playoff production, things like that. And then tier 5, veterans and placeholders, you have none. Honestly, I would consider maybe Matt Ryan probably a veteran and placeholder. But really, he's really a lot better than that. So I say overall, he is considered a veteran, but he doesn't deserve to be on this. And then tier 6, you have good luck. Jared Goff for the Lions, makes sense. Carson Wentz for the Commanders. I feel like they're waiting to really get off him. Hopefully they can get a good pick next year and find someone else. Drew Lock for the Seahawks definitely doesn't make sense. Probably one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. Daniel Jones for the Giants, honestly. Then not picking up his 5th-year option was honestly a great move. Justin Fields for the Bears, honestly a great option. I feel like that was a pretty good pick. What do you think? Marcus Mariota, Falcons, honestly. Desmond Ridder could be a good option for them, but do you think Mariota will be the long-term starter? I don't know. Mitchell Trubisky for the Saints. I don't know how long he'll stay. They drafted Kenny Pickett. I feel like he'll probably be the starter week 1. I don't know if Trubisky can really keep his job from Kenny Pickett for that long, but what do you think? This is what Jalen Rose had to say about Stephen A. Smith saying to trade LeBron James. Jalen Rose, on if the Lakers should trade LeBron James. You can't do that. If you're the Lakers, that's almost like trading Kobe in the year that they didn't make the playoffs. If they should trade anyone, it should be Anthony Davis. They shouldn't trade LeBron at all. Honestly, it'd be a horrible move and really would just show how bad the Lakers management is in general. But what do you think? This is Sports Illustrated. It makes me almost want to throw it because he reminds me so much of Peyton Manning. Reggie Wayne on Matt Ryan. Honestly, do you think he reminds you of Peyton Manning? I don't know if I really see that, but what do you think? This is Pro Football Focus. This is Kurt Warner. This is what he has to say. I will never understand. I'm not here to mentor the next guy mentality. So for all you young QBs that need a mentor, DM me, and I'll be that guy happy. Happy to help any way I can. On Ryan Tannehill's recent comments. For those who don't know, he said that's not my job to really mentor Malik Willis. And honestly, a lot of people's comments were happy with Ryan Tannehill, saying, oh, that shouldn't be his job. He should just be the starter. What do you think about this? Kurt Warner seems to disagree, and I really do agree with him. I feel like Ryan Tannehill really should show him the ropes. There's a reason why they drafted him, bro. He's been really falling short in the playoffs. That's the main reason. And he probably knows it himself. He doesn't want to give him too much pointers because he's probably going to steal his job in the next 2 to 3 years. I guarantee he won't be the starting quarterback for the Titans. And this is Draymond Green. This is Mad Dog's comments. This is what he said. Those shut up and dribble days are long gone, which he pretty much was talking about Draymond after the game in his press conference. He told him to shut up, play. Definitely some Fox News type stuff like he said. And same with J.J. Redick. He really sounded off on the guy. A lot of people in the comments were saying that he's a knockoff Skip Bayless. Definitely doesn't make sense. He looks like, he definitely reminds me of some Skip Bayless. Something Skip Bayless would say. NBA ESPN, top 5 for sure. John Morant, a year ago when asked to rank himself among current point guards. Honestly, I would agree with that. You really couldn't name any more top 5 point guards. And I feel like he's definitely in the top 5. What do you think, honestly? What's your opinion? At number 1, I'd probably put John. Actually, number 1, I'd put Curry. Number 2, probably Luka. Number 3, I'd probably put John Morant. I don't know. I'm trying to think of other point guards in the NBA right now, but I need to find some. I need to start thinking of them fast. Actually, this is how I do it. Number 1, I'd probably put Steph Curry. Number 2 would probably be Luka Doncic. Number 3, Chris Paul. Number 4, probably Kyrie Irving. Number 5, probably John Morant. I feel like Damian Lillard, I think, was regarded as top 5 point guard this year. He really had that great of a year. I honestly think John Morant definitely jumped him. He was the MVP conversation, so I do definitely agree. But what do you think? CBS Sports, the NFLPA's top 10 jersey sales and merch rankings from March 2021 through February 22nd. Number 1 was Tom Brady for the 5th straight season as the leader. Honestly, pretty insane. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, Josh Allen. Number 4, Joe Burrow. Number 5, Mac Jones. Number 6, Dak Prescott. Number 7, George Kittle. Number 8, Justin Fields. Honestly, very surprising. Number 9, Aaron Rodgers. Justin Fields is selling more jerseys than Aaron Rodgers. And then number 10, Justin Herbert on this list. Honestly, does make sense. In other news today, Dylan Brooks was actually suspended for actually injuring Gary Payton II. Honestly, doesn't make sense. I feel like it was definitely warranted for a flag. Not how he intended. The player did get injured, and that has to be taken into consideration as punishment. But what do you think? Comment down below. Some people were saying, oh, they weren't really agreeing with the call. But honestly, I didn't think it was that good of a play. He did kind of hit him in the head, and it really wasn't like Draymond Green. When Draymond Green kind of, he said he was like, oh, I'm trying to help him down. But he definitely yanked on his jersey, but he didn't injure him in a full foot. He was really on a sprint. Gary Payton Jr. the second was really just trying to dunk the ball, and he got ripped out of the air. So that was definitely a different circumstance. But what do you think? That's probably going to be the end of the video. Actually, there's one more story. Bleacher Report Gridiron. Tyreek Hill challenged DK to a race with $50K on the line for charity. Who do you got on this? Honestly, DK Metcalf or Tyreek Hill. Honestly, this is going to be a pretty good race. But who do you think is faster? This is what Tyreek Hill said. Put up $50K and the money goes to charity. You won't want it if you win. DM me. DM me, you know you was scared. I got receipts. Honestly, I don't really know why I would be that scared to race him. It's not like they're going to be in a celebrity boxing match or something like that. They're just racing on a track field. Honestly, I don't really know. DK Metcalf wasn't an Olympic thing, but Tyreek Hill also did run track, so it's going to be hard to tell who wins this. Tyreek Hill was definitely going insane when he said that he could beat Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt could be 50 years old and still beat him in a race. He's definitely not faster than him. But who do you think is faster, Tyreek Hill or DK Metcalf? Comment down below. This is probably the end of my video, but what do you think?